If you went down pyramid Spanish football in late 2021 and early 2022 to the third division, Racing Santander, one of the oldest clubs in the country and one that only a few years back was playing European football before it found itself in the third division due to lack of proper management, was finding its footing back again, all thanks to a teenager who before even the end of the season found Barcelona knocking at his door, which led into, so far, a roller coaster of a career that in order to fully understand, we must go back in time. Pablo Torre was born on the 3rd of April 23 in Soto de la Marina, a small beach town in the north of Spain. His father Esteban was a professional footballer who played in midfield for multiple clubs across Spain, but he spent the majority of his career at Racing Santander, which was only 5 kilometers away from their town. His father retired early at 29 years old and switched to coaching. This footballing environment meant that it was only a matter of time before a young Pablo would start playing as well. He joined local club CD Marina Sport at the age of 7 years old. He stayed there for 5 years, becoming the captain of most age group teams he played at, and built around him such a strong scouting report that when he turned 12, top clubs from across Spain were already knocking at his door. But since he had no agent, he opted to play for his childhood favorite club, Racing Santander, where he would be able to play under his father's eyes and stay close to home. And by 2019, aged only 16, he was already a full member of the under-19 team and getting called up to the Spain under-17 squad. In April 2020, Pablo signed his first ever pro contract, despite continuous rise in interest from top flight clubs at the time, and by July he made his first appearance with the reserves in a playoff game, which had scouts from Real Madrid already seated and watching as he glazed the post in a 1-0 draw, before becoming a full first team squad member that same season, playing in the third division of Spanish football. And this is where he first started to gain notoriety with the broader national scene, playing 25 games that season, scoring 4 goals and giving out 5 assists at only the age of 17. Racing knew that he would be the key to their promotion, that they felt like getting in the playoff stages multiple times, but they also knew that other clubs are waiting to snatch him up. So they offered him an extension with a higher salary and a bigger release clause, valued at 8 million euros at the time, and Pablo, again having no agent that could influence him to sign to a bigger club, accepted the offer and locked in on getting the club to the second division. The following season, Pablo donned the number 10 shirt and led Racing Santander in 34 games, scoring 10 goals and giving out 11 assists, as well as gaining more national coverage, playing with the under-19 Spanish team, scoring twice and assisting twice. Back at the club level, he helped Racing end a 2-year stint at the third division, but before the end of the season, clubs came back again for his signature, and this time he knew that it was time to venture off to bigger stages. Armed with an agent doing the negotiations, he looked at the offers presented to him and chose Barcelona's, despite Real Madrid giving out a bigger financial offer, mainly due to a surprise call from Xavi.
It was fast, my representative told me, because Alemani,
Barcelona's sporting director,
contacted. I was focused on with the national team in Las Rosas, and that's when they told me that I had a video call with Xavi. He explained the project to me. The treatment by him was good, as if I was his son. The truth is that it went very well. In addition, I have spoken with young people from Barca, and they have told me that he also had a special approach with them.
He added,
I spoke with Madrid, but my dream was to play and hopefully succeed at Barca. Madrid offered more money, but for me the important thing was to play at the Camp Nou and the sports project. It was clear to me since they called for the first time.
Later on, the deal was made official, worth a guaranteed 5 million euros that can go up to 20 with variables, starting a new chapter that would go on changing his career forever. Coming in hot from leading Racing back to the second division, expectations were riding high on Pablo. Although his deal said he would join Barca B, the general consensus was that he would be part of the first team. In early July 2022, Pablo Torre joined Barcelona's summer camp. He would go on to start in a friendly against Ulot before traveling with the team for the USA tour and getting subbed on in all 4 games later in the game. During these friendlies, he showed some potential, but his small stature didn't help him much in physical challenges, something crucial for midfielders. But it was too early to call. As the season started, he wasn't included in the list for the season opener against Rayo Vallecano. He would be on the bench the following game against Real Sociedad, only to get dropped out for the next 5 games. On the European front, he would get to play 9 minutes as a late sub in the campaign opener against Victoria Pilsen. Back on the league side, he would continue getting dropped from the squad or spend the whole game on the sidelines until late October, where he would come on late for a 4-0 win against Athletic Club and go on to start in the Champions League group stage closer against the same team 4 months later, where he would score his first goal with the club and his first ever in the Champions League. And there was that. He would stay stuck in the cycle of getting dropped from the list or sitting on the bench for months, with reports coming out saying that he had a fall off with Xavi due to attitude and discipline issues. However, Xavi would come out to deny these reports, saying,
"I've read that Pablo has bad habits. That's all false. He's an example. He works well. He likes football. Within the dressing room, he's very well liked. He's a very good kid. The issue is that there is a lot of competition. He's playing minutes in the Barca first team. That is a lot. He is helping us. I hope he knows that he is important and ready."
This cycle would continue until April, where he would finally start making appearances in the league every now and then, especially in the end of the season, where Barcelona was already crowned champions. He would finish the season with only 2 contributions, a goal and a single assist in the Copa del Rey, having only played in 13 games, starting only in 2. Headlines were circulating around. How can one of the biggest prospects in Spain end up as a bench warmer? Was it his level or lack thereof? Was it attitude? Was it discipline? Was it lack of adaptation to playing at a higher level? All these questions were running around, and they were fair questions, but it boiled down to not being high in the picking order, especially with a stacked midfield at the time, with Gavi, Pedri, Busquets, Kessie and De Jong, and with his position being an attacking midfielder, something that didn't fit Xavi's game plans, and therefore he ended up on the bench. The following season, both parties knew that this dynamic couldn't go on and ended up sending him as a loan to Catalonia neighbor Girona. Girona's past season was nothing short of historical. The club would go on 7-game undefeated streak at the start of the season, finding themselves as the leaders of the league by then, and going on to lead the table until week 22, before crashing out later on and finishing 3rd overall, only behind champions Real Madrid and runner-up Barcelona. Regardless of that, this would be the best finish in Girona's history, as well as securing a spot in a European competition for the first time ever. However, Pablo Torre's season with the club wouldn't be as glorious. Although he played 26 games in the league, 22 of these games he was subbed on, clocking in at only 689 minutes, an average of only 30 minutes per game, and only contributing 2 assists the entire season. Girona coach Michel would go on praising the player whenever he is asked about him in the press, saying,
"We all know how much quality Pablo has. This is Pablo we need. He can help us a lot. Turning between the lines, he has so much quality. Really, I think his ability to turn is up there with the best in the world."
However, he only saw him as a second option and a late game addition for the team, with other midfielders ranking above him in the picking order. Pablo Torre wasn't complaining though, as he felt that he was doing a decent job at the club, having the most key passes per 90 minutes out of all the Girona players, and also given the fact that he felt more heard, saying that Xavi wasn't as supportive and talkative as he thought he would be, saying,
"In general, he doesn't talk much with the players either. It is true that his brother and the staff were very close. I know that both they and the coach and the delegates as well are aware of what Eric Garcia and I are doing at Girona."
After the end of the season, Pablo found himself between 2 routes: extend his loan spell at Girona for a further year, or stay in Barcelona and fight for a spot. And as reports would have you think and believe, he was closer to the first, especially before Xavi's sacking. But two things stepped in the way of him leaving. The first were injuries. By August, Barcelona's midfield was looking emptier and filled with injuries, with De Jong being out since April and Gavi since November of last year, and the second being the economic situation of Barcelona, who were not able to sign any new midfielders other than Dani Olmo. This, alongside a good pre-season display for Pablo, convinced Hansi Flick to keep him in the squad, who was happy with having any player on hand in these type of situations. And as the season started, Pablo again found himself stuck on the bench before finally showing up in a 7-0 win against Valladolid as a late sub. And although the next game against former club Girona didn't see him step on the pitch, Dani Olmo would go on picking up an injury, which gave him the chance to finally get into the starter spot. It's safe to say that thus far, he clutched on this chance with all his power. In his first ever game to start at, he would go on to score and give us an assist against Villarreal at home, as well as starting in the next game against Getafe and giving out key pass after key pass in a 1-0 win. So what's the catch? Will Pablo Torre finally fulfill his potential of greatness and show that he can be a regular for the team? Or will he go back to being a sub once the injured players come back, with even rumors spreading out that he might go out on loan in January? In my opinion, I think he is here to stay, and although he may not be able to maintain a spot in the starting 11, he showed enough potential and showed that he can be a reliable asset the club can count on. And let's be honest here, Pedri, De Jong and Olmo are injury ticking time bombs. And it's not a question of will they get injured, but a question of when will they get injured and how long would they be out. So therefore, I think he will be able to get more chances as the season goes on, especially given the fact that there are so many more games domestically and on the European front with the new Champions League format. Therefore, it's on him to showcase his talents and prove to everyone that he is Barcelona's caliber of player, as well as take advantage of Hansi Flick's more aggressive attacking style of play, and maybe he can prove finally to everyone that he's a caliber of player worth playing for Barcelona.